guys, welcome back to another revisiting, and today we are revisiting Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future Part 2, of course, is the follow-up sequel to the first movie. I have done a revisiting of that there on the channel. I went to watch it in an adventure cinema, outdoor cinema, and yeah, now I'm watching all of them because obviously I watched that one in that cinema thing. So, directed by Robert Zemeckis, of course starring the one and only Michael J. Fox, as well as Christopher Lloyd, obviously, as Emmett Brown. And this one is the actual movie where they go into the future. They actually go forward and they see a little bit more of life in general and all of that. So going forward into 2015, November 2015, and it's all about Marty really just trying to, you know, he's got a problem with his kids, and Doc's like, you need to come, and Jennifer, you need to come too. It regards your kids. It's your kids. Your kids need help, Marty. And it picks up directly after the first one. The first one basically ends with this scene of, you know, the car, where we're going, we don't need roads, and boom, and then the car flies. All of that. So this one is one of those, and it has an interesting spin on it. It also links to the first movie. It goes back to the first movie in some bits with time travel, and you know, if they don't do this, then this kind of happens here. Biff is a pivotal character in this movie. He basically confuses the whole thing in terms of time, and yeah, it's an interesting concept on what already is a fantastic series. Now, I will say, after watching this, it's not as good as I remembered it being. I very much prefer the first movie in the franchise of Back to the Future. That is, in my opinion, the first one is purely perfect. There's nothing more I can say about it that doesn't make it great. This one, however, isn't perfect. It isn't great for me, and I didn't enjoy her as much. I think there wasn't as much. I think the story in the first one is just simpler, but it's just more effective. In this one, I think they just made it a bit more confusing, and you know, if you were, it's one of those where you have to really focus on her in a way, because if you miss something, it kind of impacts, you know, so it's all about this project, the sports almanac book, rather. So this almanac book it says all of the sport results, and obviously in 2015, it's like a retro piece for all of the years gone by. But Marty from 1955, if he wants to grab it, you know, for the next 60 years, he could bet on football matches and get the right result and then win. And that's exactly what happens. It turns into a malicious effort, which then, you know, if Biff gets hold of it, you know, in the year 2015, then Biff is a very different person to who he is when they go back and all of that. So yeah, all of that is very interesting, but again, very somewhat confusing. And that book then is actually present in the events of the first movie, so all of that is to be contended with, and you know, it then impacts what they did in the first movie. So if they don't do it, then yeah, it's a proper time travel movie which does take over your mind. But there's no taking away that it is in the universe that we love. It is, all the characters are obviously fantastic. They're all playing those roles. So the older version of Biff is actually the original young Biff actor, and likewise Marty in the future is Marty, but they put prosthetics on, and the father and the mother and all of that. And yeah, it's a really wholesome movie in that sense. I like the fact that they do that, obviously, with these films. 1989 this film came out, and again, it does hold up. It is a fantastically well-made movie, and then a year after that, then it does go into the first one. So we had the first one in 1985, 4-year gap in between. 1989 then, and the second one came out, and then the third one came out in 1990. Now, I'm really excited to watch the third one. I've never seen the third one, so this is why I wanted to do this, because it's an excuse to actually get into it. But I'm really excited to watch number 3, which is going to come very soon. However, part 2 then, what will I rate it? Well, I actually gave it a 4-star. I think it lacks for me in many areas. I think the first one has a lot more nostalgia for me. I care about the characters a lot more. I think the stakes are a lot higher, but it's also written and told in a much more simpler way. This one adds a little bit more confusion, but it is interesting when they go to the future, and obviously, you know, the hoverboards and some of the iconic things like the self-tie-in shoelaces and the flying cars and all that. Obviously, none of that we have actually in 2024 now at the point of filming this, but it is funny to see the perspective of what they had back in 1980s or whatever, of what we'd have in 40 or 35 years time. So 4-star for me. Of course, if you did miss my first one for Back to the Future, then you can go back and watch that. Spoiler, I did prefer that one, but that is there on the channel if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching though, guys. Stay tuned, of course, I said, for number 3, where I will give my first impressions of that movie. looking forward to it. When I watched the second one, there was like a trailer for the next one, so I did know it's like cowboys and all that stuff and the Wild West, but we'll see how that goes. But there it is, guys. There is my reviewing of Back to the Future Part 2. Thanks for watching, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.